right here. They need to pull up there.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Guys, this is being documented here.
That's racket.
We're on video.
Oh my goodness, what elegant ladies. What, my goodness, my goodness. My goodness gracious. Holy cow. My goodness. It's going to take me a while to figure out who's who, I think.
Joanne.
Okay,
I'm June.
that's June.
I'm Beverly.
My goodness. The twins. John gets,
Yes.
this is my partner,
Right,
John.
right.
He is
Yep, yep.
documenting this, and I'm going to make sure you guys get it.
Gotta set it straight.
Don't have red hair.
Doreen, what happened to your red hair? Same thing happened to my black hair, right? Dark hair.
Right.
Doreen and June, and each one of these I think was a girlfriend at one time. And maybe not Doreen, you were a little bit older
I'm
than me.
the older girl.
But I think June was my very first girlfriend, you know,
You
because
were
we
close
always,
to me behind the
we
bushes.
always, at church we would say, you know, I claim this one. And so I claimed June, I claimed Beverly, Joanne. I never did know which one was which. Who is this guy coming up here?
That's my husband, Gail.
Gail. That's all. How did you come up with a name like Gail? That's like boy made in soup. You can identify with that, right? Is it Gaylord or what?
Just good.
Gail. Okay, Gail. And this
50
is
years
John.
ago,
Yeah.
he played the organ at our wedding.
I-
Here's 50 years ago last May.
And ours will be 50 years in June.
I brought
Took
pictures
movies of
all
ours.
them.
Took movies of our wedding.
I don't think I would recognize. I would probably would have recognized you. Maybe she sent me a picture. I guess you sent me a picture of these two. You know, rain turns to mush. I hope people live here. But we've had a lot of wind, and believe you me, with 4 hurricanes, and we had a light freeze here about 2 weeks ago. So that's why the banana trees.
Did you put all this in, Jerry, or is a lot of it
No, we
ready?
just pulled the orchids in, and we just sort of, it really wasn't bad, it was just kind of frosty thing, but the bananas don't like in the springtime, or here in a few weeks, it'll have huge red flowers, fleshy red flowers.
Oh, that's
And then, of course, it's messy, but after the flowers fly, then it develops a seed pod, and it produces this fiber, this kapok fiber, that used to be used for life vests and fine pillows and all like that. It's gorgeous. when
that's
you
not a
see it.
banana tree, is it?
That's banana, yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think I've got any
good
bananas.
smell.
I harvested my bananas, but I don't get them out in the last week.
This must be dormant right now with no
Water, you know, people pay, they go to Germany and pay to drink this water. But that's where the
Where's that go to?
well, those right there those are tropical fish, and there's the guppies and the swordfish. Now there was a movie filmed here. I think it's going to be out this week called First Time Call. So you only watch for it and you'll see the scenes here. It stars Fred Willard and Siobhan Fallon and Chris Elliott. It's going to be a fun movie. And I think
Is it TV, made for TV?
I don't know. It just hasn't been released yet. You see, that hurricane just clobbered this is giant bamboo, and it will grow.
Okay.
Aha! Now everybody who laughs, I know that you know.
Look at this silly fig. Yes.
All right, come on up here.
You have to water this, or does it?
just get the moisture it needs.
Sometimes, and of course, the wind keeps blowing stuff in. They're my baby.
Pretty good size.
Died.
Do they eat those little minnows?
No, they really don't. Actually, the little fellows, these little tropical fish, have a symbiotic relationship with them. And so they pick the parasites. When they want to be clean, they just go and sort of hang their head. Now this is Porky. Porky right here, the big fat one there. And I got Porky about 3 years ago, and he was that long. I bought him a pet. So let me show you what Porky is. Everybody get it. Come here, Porky. Come on. Come on, Porky. Come here. Come on. Come here, Porky. Come on.
They're all coming. Out of your hands, huh?
Porky does, yeah. The others, they're pretty shy around there. Butter's there. That's Butter's right there. And she's
With all the black and...
right here. The big one there.
Oh,
But she's shy around strangers. Come on, guys. Come on. See this one right there, that red and white one, pretty white. That's rosemary. She's really pretty. And this is Splendida. Splendida is probably the prettiest fish there. See the one with the glow with the beautiful, beautiful fin circling around behind the rosemary there? That's Splendida. That's one of my favorites. Splendida is about that long. Right here, Baby Goldie. Baby Goldie was a little bitty thing. Just looked like a living jewel.
So how old are they then?
They're about 3 years old. I feed them a lot.
Will these little ones grow up to be big ones?
No, this is as big as they get. Now, this morning I was feeding. I've also got a little snake. He comes.
Well, that was really
He
red.
comes when I just cleaned all this out about an hour ago, and you see what the is. And this is what I contend with. You see those? That's a kapok bud there. And I have to pick those out.
What's the plant growing in the middle here?
All of these right here?
The big plant.
The big one? Which one? Oh, that?
Yeah, the bush.
That's a philodendron, really.
Really? Philadelphia.
It's just a different variety. Now, there's the same plastic bag in there, and they promptly ate the hatches off of it, the latches, and ate
They
all.
got tough teeth, huh?
So then I put this on there, and then they reached down in there, so I've had to
Chew
just
up the plastic.
so I had to have two. I have to have a double system there.
What's this called?
That's tea, Hawaiian tea,
Hawaiian tea. We see that growing. Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
The new growth.
and that's
is so
a
pretty.
a white bird of paradise. You see right through there, the bird of paradise balloon. There's one balloon. Oh, there's our step. Watch your step.
Did you put all this in or what?
Well, a lot of it's just natural. You know, all this we put in the bamboo a number of years ago, just a couple of little strips of it. And this bamboo, what's so amazing about it is that, you know, if you don't, you have to water it every day. And if you go out and come out here, the leaves would be flat against the bamboo stalk.
It grows in like a rainforest.
And then when you water it, you can see the leaves.
Do you have to keep it pruned? My goodness.
The new growth. Come over this way.
Yeah, well, the year before we had 2 hurricanes come through here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that
had
was,
105 mile per hour winds at their house in Winter Springs.
Smell it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a spice.
it was, the house shook.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
garage
sure.
doors bowed out, and
I know.
It
they
was
had
really
to hold
spooky.
the doors shut. It was terrible.
Yes, it was real spooky.
My grandson called me and said, "Mimi, we're in the eye of the hurricane." I said, "Oh, don't tell me that."
Yeah, it's real calm in the eye. It's really nice when the eye comes through.
Some more of that arrow. This right here.
We've given up on this area because between the raccoons.
That just really grows wild. doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah, we have it all over the place. It started off on the other side of the yard.
Oh,
And
really?
we brought bits and twigs of it over here, and it's just kind of taken over.
All up that tree.
Yeah, you have to be careful because it actually has kind of a,
What's this called? A palm?
oh golly.
That's not a sago palm, is it?
No, kind of, yeah.
Kind
It's
of
a cabbage palm, whatever.
Where they
It's-
fan out.
Yeah. They're just kind of wild here.
Yeah, my daughter.
The oranges must be gorgeous trees too. Because
Yeah,
the
and this is
hurricane damage.
and this one right here is wild orange. This is sour. We use them because they're so hardy. They'll graft, fancy soft ones, and you get good oranges from them.
What are those trees they call in Puerto Rico and down there that are so huge?
Banyans?
Yeah, banyans.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the city of Melbourne gave us a Grand Old Tree Award. And
What'd you say it was, Jared?
Oak tree. It's oak tree. It's either water oak or live oak. I never can remember which one it is.
look at the plant growing out of it over there.
There's a lot of those big
I put those up there. Those are bromeliads. If you've been to Costa Rica, South America, you'll see those bromeliads growing up in the trees. Yeah, come look how big this is. We have flying squirrels at night.
Is this a bromeliad?
That's a bromeliad. Yeah. I actually planted those because I was trying to keep them from. I had working some things up here. And raccoons and squirrels kept me keeping them. So I put that trying to block them. The nice thing about it is if you turn gray early, then I said, oh, you look just like the Elfwich did.
Well,
Your
I
mother
always
was
say-
whitehead real early too, but
She said she couldn't remember her father.
When did you leave Seminole and go to Tech?
1958, I guess. I graduated from Tech in 1958. And then I tell you it was missing. But you know, that's the bark of the tree. This is a very complex thing that we're doing for these super rich people.
And you drive.
For a window?
Yeah, this is going to be, was it a window, John, or a door?
Two of them.
Two of them.
Did you go to them and they tell you what you want or what colors to use? How do you?
Yeah, John does that. John is the outside man. He goes and he makes all the arrangements and he
Mostly, this particular project, we're working with an interior designer. And
Right here in Melbourne?
Over on the beach side. You go across the causeway, and it's on an island. And they've got they'll probably be more than 100 homes out there when they build out, and they're better than three-quarters. I guess it's probably better than 60 homes out there now. They're over $1 million on this particular little development. This particular project is based on a French chateau. They've been traveling to France a lot, and they like the French chateau. So we picked up kind of a little bit of an empire motif here with this urn, which looks very Napoleonic. And these are two windows that separate the grand hallway from the great room. It's an access house. You walk in the front door and there's hallways on either side. Directly ahead is the great room, and these windows are between the hallway and the great room. And on one side is going to be a bar, and on the other side I don't quite know what, but in the great room there's cabinetry that goes under this on the great room side. And this is just, these two windows are one small portion of this commission. We're doing a 12-foot by 9-foot ceiling fixture. We're doing kitchen cabinets, we're doing library doors, and we're doing transoms and the front door. The front door we just finished, and we can show you the front door. It's right here. For the front door, now this is just the top part of the front door, so you can imagine how big the front door is going to be. The front door is going to be about 12 foot tall.
Go this way or?
Yeah, it's vertical.
This place is a palace.
This is the top part.
Yeah.
What we did here is we brought in the traditional egg and dart motif. That's called egg and dart, which is a decorative motif on borders that they used back at the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century. So, and we had that painted and fired. A fellow in Cocoa Beach has been trained in the European manner. In Europe, they didn't mind painting and firing on glass. That was something that they did on a regular basis. They had no problem. The American tradition is the Tiffany tradition, and he believed the color had to be black.
Oh.
He just intimidated all these ladies, these pretty ladies.
He's our chauffeur. We need a chauffeur hat for him. For all these ladies. Oh, isn't that?
That one over the left just opened up this week, especially for your visit. You guys, we're going to have a picture of all of us inside here with the orchids. Let me show you.
Oh, that is just
I'm going to get our camera, John. I got it all.
gorgeous right here. I got my camera. Or you have to send me.
Yeah. We've been collecting orchids for quite a few years.
Oh, really?
And Jerry has a friend out there, a Vietnamese lady that grows orchids, and he goes out, no, I wouldn't say every week, but it's at a flea market. And he'll bring something back every other week, or, you know,
New plant or
a
something.
new plant. Yeah,
Oh, look
usually.
at the lizard on the wall. We lived in Singapore. We had lizards running up and down the walls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have geckos in here, too. Yeah.
Oh.
These are cattleyas that just opened up this week. These are dendrobiums. And these are vandas. These vandas just grow with their roots hanging in midair. Vandas. These are the vandas. See, here's another vanda getting ready to pop.
I know, and that's what he was saying. And there's one up here too. Look, it always got potted down here.
Yeah, see, this is what we wanted to hide the ugly pots, because orchids are ugly most of the time. And we got, boy, we're going to have phalaenopsis. Really, a lot of them do lots and lots of buds. But we had to, last week when it got chilly, we had to drag them all into the house.
Oh my goodness.
They can't.
Surely a pretty Christmas cactus right there.
Pretty.
Sheeting or something around this.
No, you can't do that. We got to bring them in. And
Are these yours or
Oh yeah.
Tiffany's?
No, these are all ours.
You made them?
We made all these. Yes.
We've
yes.
been to the Tiffany Museum.
Oh, the Morse
In
Museum?
Winter- uh-huh,
Yes,
Winter
yes.
Park. Oh.
See, my grandmother lived 1135 Lakeview Drive across the lake from Hugh and Jeanette McCain
Oh, really?
on Lake Virginia there, right around from Rollins College. And the McCain's the one that owned the collection. So, and he was president of Rollins College for many years, Hugh McCain. So, and I graduated from Rollins. My dad and uncles all graduated from
Oh,
Rollins.
did you?
So I've been looking at that glass since I was knee high.
So that was your
Now, I don't recommend
area
Inspiration.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
He
that's
grew
right.
up in the
In Winter Park.
Winter Park area around the
Yeah.
Rollins.
Yeah.
Look at this.
He
This
went
is my
to
pride
the
and joy.
Rollins
This is my-
College.
Yeah.
This is my prized lamp. It's my favorite of all my lamps. It was sort of a therapeutic project that I worked on for over a year. It has some very, very exquisite glass in it. Some of it's hand cast right here in Florida.
Me of Tiffany's.
Oh, well, see, the thing that we've concentrated on are flowers and things that Tiffany never got around to doing. Because in New England, he didn't do tropicals. So we do morning glories and things like that. And he did a few roses, but we try to make it different or improve
All of
on it
these
and do
leaves are
something
textured,
different.
which means they had to cut those
gorgeous.
down
All
with
of
salt.
these lampshades.
Oh, yeah.
I have two
Yeah.
that are
This one right here, what do you notice different about this one? This is another
We've
one of my
done
personal
more than
projects that I
100
worked on for
lampshades.
about-
Oh,
I
really?
worked on for about a year.
Gotta get
What do you notice different
That
about
is
this?
work.
Oh,
Beautiful.
You see that?
yeah.
They're bent.
They're one?
Bent.
Oh, they're bent. Curved. The curved
Which
glass.
means I had to make a special mold for these and then cut them at the different angles and lay them on there and heat them up to 1600 degrees to
make the glass
to
bend.
make it bend.
I developed this pattern from real life photos of these angel trumpets. And this is another one that I worked on for a long time, about a year.
Worked about a
Did I
year
see a
on this one.
butterfly?
No butterflies.
Oh,
This is
okay.
all
It's just
that.
the glass.
Now, this
here.
base right here, that's a Tiffany reproduction base. That base is solid bronze. The brace in this,
They
in
are
this
so
thing right here
heavy.
was like $550 wholesale.
This base is
base.
Did you do
That one
the
is
turtle.
one that's made. That's a Tiffany reproduction, but it's made. Base is made.
I was
in
telling
Korea.
John we've been through the Morse Museum.
Oh really? Oh
in
yeah,
Winter
that's
Park
fun.
a couple
isn't
of
it?
times, yeah.
I showed some of my stuff to the guy who built that museum,
Hugh McCain.
Hugh McCain. And he was a crusty old character.
It has some beautiful things. Roses is These are
Now
just
these are authentic species. This is a telescope eye. And this is a Ryukin. Each fish has got about 30 pieces in it. And this is a veil tail.
The
Oh, look at the
goldfish has got a cute story to it. Jerry brought home these two large sheets of gaudy orange and yellow glass, and we don't use orange much. And I said, "What the heck did you bring that home for?" And he said, "Never mind." And then he proceeded to cut out how many goldfish?
52.
52 goldfish.
Each one's got about 30
Do
pieces.
the turtles have some of it too?
No,
The
no,
orange?
no,
That
no.
didn't-
Just strictly the goldfish. So we had trays and trays and trays of goldfish sitting around all over our studio. And I said, "What are you going to do with these?" He said, "Never mind." Then he proceeded to make the two smaller goldfish lamps over there, and a bunch of smaller goldfish lamps. And then the two of us worked together on this big one, and I came up with the idea of adding the water lilies.
You must
into it.
have tough hands. Do you wear gloves when
Oh
you
no,
do this?
no! Jerry does all the glass cutting. I do the foil, a lot of foiling and soldering, and I do a lot of the
No
design
major
work on the big
scars?
one.
Not yet.
Just tough
Still
fingers.
got a whole finger.
Well, they don't feel that tough.
No, he's been
I
cutting all
couldn't
the
cut
glass.
10 pieces of that.
You see here, here's that cover of the journal of the AVMA.
This is the cover of the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association. And we did this for a veterinarian over across the causeway.
Goes to 50,000 subscribers worldwide. Inside, you know, see like blood in the guts and all like that.
Take pictures of these lamps.
These are some of the other covers we've been on. So we're mildly famous.
You are famous, aren't
I mean, I never cease to be amazed how anybody
Were
can be
you
so
on
famous and so
Southern Living?
poor at the same time. Yeah.
Well,
This is the July 2000 issue of Southern Living magazine.
Come with didn't know that we all get southern living.
Well, but this
What
was
state?
just the Florida. They have
Certain edition.
different editions for
Oh,
states.
yeah. Oh,
And this was the
okay.
Florida State edition that they had.
Right. Well, see, we would have found you soon. We'd have been in Texas.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known who it was.
If I'd known your name.
I guess Barbara and James are the ones that found you online, didn't they?
Yeah.
Only because I told him his middle name.
Oh, really? She lives in Odessa.
There's
I
horse
talked to
riding.
her. Heck,
Now,
I
what was horse riding sister
Barbara.
name? Barbara riding. There's
Uh-huh.
Barbara,
Yeah.
and I don't know who else is there.
That's Jerry with the accordion.
Yeah, but I was wondering
Okay.
where all you. The only one I really was sure of was June, and I don't know where. Doreen, you should have been in there somewhere.
It's a long time ago.
Well, is that
Well, Doreen, you were older. You
Might
may have been too old for this. I don't know.
have, unless that's me right there.
Well,
Murtis
Murtis looks
where-
like she's maybe
Correct,
13,
Doreen.
12 or 13,
That
and
looks
Beverly
like
and I are the
a
same
friend of
age
that
she
is
is.
one
of
us?
It looks kind
Wonder
of.
Bill Hester's in here.
Right-
Janine Hester.
right
But
there.
I doubt if it is.
That's June.
I was.
I believe that's June.
Right there.
That's
Shirley,
June, and there's
yeah.
Shirley Coker. You know, Shirley.
yeah, Beverly and I
and
right
this
back
is,
here.
This is Christine
Yeah.
Cahill right here.
Beverly, right here. These two right here. Isn't that look
I
kind of
forgot
like
Oh,
about
that's
the
what I was
Cahills.
saying. Yeah, I thought that was this.
Need a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
I had one out there in the Jeep. No, it's a motorhome.
I forgot about you playing the accordion. I know Doreen had one.
Don't you remember one
Yeah.
time we were playing? Do
Oh,
you remember
yeah.
Sister Smithy?
Yeah.
And Sister Smithy would always start to shout and
She
she
was a
couldn't
little
move and she would
bitty
just
thing.
stomp. You know, she'd stand and stomp. Remember that?
I can remember the
Well,
three
where's,
of you and I, Doreen, been at the church one afternoon, and you teaching her how to play the old rugged cross. I
Or maybe
remember
Golden
that
Bells.
sometime.
Maybe I was
This is
showing her the
Sister,
Golden Bells.
It was an
probably.
old
These
Everybody
two
thought it was
women
Golden-
holding the
But Doreen
revival.
played,
so
you
rugged.
played piano, didn't
was
you?
They went to camp
Oh,
meeting and held a
was it?
revival.
Oh, really? I remember that.
Remember
What
when
was
we
these
used to
two?
go Christmas caroling and we
One,
we
Sister
harmonized.
Little, Edith Little, was the name of the evangelist.
Was it?
Just one of them, Edith Little, and this lady. I don't remember the lady's name with her, but they used to go to hold the kids' church at camp meeting
Uh-huh.
up at Lubbock. Who that was?
It
Edith
almost looks
Little.
like Glenda J. Our niece.
I just, you know,
It could
don't-
be.
Sister Cox is dead. As far as I
Yes.
know, Brother Cox is still
Oh,
alive.
really?
Merlene's and her husband are. So is it Merlene or Jesse that are missionaries?
Must be Jesse.
Jesse and her husband are missionaries.
What was the oldest?
Murtis is our
She
age.
lives
She
in
lives in
Odessa.
Odessa. Murtis Davis. I called her.
This is his cousin?
Well, were you
Sister's
related
cousin?
to
Yes,
Nelda?
that's Patricia.
Nelda married my uncle.
Yeah.
These, I think I sent you a
I guess
copy. Didn't I
it's
send you one of these for Ruth that I did for Ruth?
No.
Last year?
Well, now, is she dead now?
No.
No, no, but she's.
Now,
I
you
just talked
sent
to her.
Barbara and James one,
Okay,
but I didn't.
but now
Yeah.
I'll.
We saw Ruth last year.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, it's the one I gave
That
you.
was
well,
3 years ago. We
Okay.
saw
everybody had their
Ruth.
own copy
Yeah.
there. Make sure.
And she came for a school reunion. Ruth and her husband. Yeah. We see them in the mornings and in the
They
evenings.
squabble and fuss and carry on out here over the, who's,
That's
who's
the.
going to do
June
this.
has lots of hummingbirds. You
Yeah.
have them at your new house? Yeah.
Did you get the spread?
Yeah,
Not as
that's
many
right.
as we had at the other ones, but
Yeah.
yes.
They used to come and fight over the feeders. Another project here.
Yes,
have
that's
projects
it. That's it.
everywhere.
Well, this is another piece that we
Isn't that
finished.
MD Anderson and
Oh, they got
Houston?
all
Yeah.
over the place. Yeah. Right.
Luncheon with the orchids, right?
Eating with the orchids. Oh, the clouds
Eating
will
with
move
the
back in.
Well, you know what? That's why we were originally going to eat out in the back there, but it's a good thing we didn't because I have a feeling it's going to start raining pretty soon. Huh?
When y'all get clouds, you get rain.
Sometimes.
We get clouds, we pray it rains. Somewhere, if a cloud comes.
Last year we had record amounts of rain.
There's
Sister Taylor.
There's Basham.
Yeah,
There's
that's Sister
Basham.
Taylor.
Yeah. I think these were some visiting ministers that were here for this thing.
Was this outside?
Yeah,
the back
there's
of the
Ruth.
church?
There's Ruth.
Sister
Between-
Taylor?
yeah.
Yeah.
And there goes one of the Briggses.
Oh, I didn't see it.
W. and Nelda.
That's Nelda. And who?
My uncle W.
Oh, really? Is that who
Oh,
she
there's
married?
Joanne, or
There's-
one in the red.
Now see, you don't know.
No, I know. There we
There's the
are.
two of them. And
There's Mother.
there's your mom.
Uh-huh.
There's Basha.
Who
That's
had
my
the hanky
grandmother.
around her
Oh,
head?
is it?
That's your grandmother?
Uh-huh.
Did they live in Seminole?
No, they lived out in Louisiana. That's
were
Mama's,
just visiting
Mama's
them.
mother and dad.
Mary
There's Ryan.
Rides.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there's your mom
Mary.
back in the background there.
Uh-huh. Well, I hadn't seen this one. Is this the one that's this?
Yeah, for Ruth.
You've
Okay.
seen it,
I hadn't-
have you?
Yeah, I gave it to Doreen.
Yeah.
Still got it. My DVD player.
Now, I don't know who this lady was either. Some
Oh,
of
I
these-
do. Who
That's-
is she?
Is that Daddy?
No. This
Oh,
is some. This is
oh.
another visiting preacher. I don't think I've got any of you, Dad.
Who's that? That's,
I don't know who that lady was. And this was when Mom and I were going to Lubbock, and I was going to join the army. And so
Oh.
we stopped by and saw Brother and Sister Pastor and Ruth
at Level Land.
in Level Land.
Uh-huh.
And that's her little sister. I've forgotten what her sister's name
She's a missionary too.
is.
Ruth and Ruth.
So you went in the army after college?
Mm-hmm.
Ruth and Teddy and
And what was the sister's name?
And when did you go to
what
work
was
with
her
Red
sister's
Cross?
name? Ruth was name?
And it's got a.
Mr. Abby. Put that harp in there.
harp. It's got.
Is this what you played on with the tapes you made us?
It's got a wonderful a flute, oboe.
You can just play any instrument you want.
And then you can add. That's how I add instruments to the. It's got a sequencer so that you can sort of add them. It's got this like.
That's your background song.
And then you've got this. This I use a lot. It's got things like this. Remember this song?
You could make your own records and sell them.
Doggy in the window. Oh, you can play that. Only 50 years later could you put the doggy in there.
Or,
So did you make that recording right here at home?
yep, I sure did.
I did.
Now this is what's amazing. The love of God is greater far than tongue or pen can ever tell. It goes beyond the highest star and reaches to the lowest
How
hill.
many of you know this song?
The love of God, how rich, how pure, how measureless and strong, it shall forevermore endure. Thus praise an angel's song. My voice is going, but it's amazing how this thing can harmonize with you. Isn't that amazing?
You don't need background singers.
You got
Something in the voice, writing something in your smile.
You can't see it.
Something in my heart told me I must not
Have to be sitting down, I guess. I can't see for the glare.
Okay, here. Just don't get stuck on there. Now, hey,
That's
cut your finger off.
How did you get it there?
This exquisitely carved scarab was a symbol of resurrection, and the band is pure gold. Imagine this was made 3,000 years ago.
These,
Saying
you know, Lord Carnarvon gave these to Lord Mayor of London. He gave them to his daughter. She married an American and moved to Orlando and lived next door to a friend of ours. And
she
so
had a
she
little finger,
says,
didn't she?
he said that she called up and says, "Oh, son, the grandkids have gotten in here." She was 80 years old, and said they've lost all this stuff in the sandbox. Says if you come over and get it, says you can have it. And he went through and he sifted through all that. So when I came back from Egypt, I said, he told me he had some more pieces, and I said, "So what can I possibly do for you? Because you just part with one little artifact." He said, "I'm gonna give them all to you." So he gave me all of these. Now this is a
Pays to know the right
3,000-year-old
people at the right
Ushabti.
time.
Egyptians felt that in the afterlife you might be called upon to do work in the fields or whatever. And this mummy says, "I'll do it for you." If he's called upon to do any kind of work in the fields or to shift sand from one side to the other, then this says, "I'll do it for you." It's
That's 3,000 years old.
3,000 years old. I got this from Bob Breyer. Bob Breyer is a famous Egyptologist. You've probably seen him on television, Dr. Breyer.
He did things on mummies as
Does
his
things on
specialty.
mummies. And this
We
is-
just went and saw him last week.
Yeah, we made him last
He's
week.
the one Jerry was telling me was coming.
Now this
Yeah.
is the 3,000-year-old mummy rat.
Oh,
Fabric. 3,000 years old.
It's a piece from a
Uh-huh,
mummy, I think.
uh-huh.
Goodness gracious.
Now, this is scenes from Nefertari's tomb. Nefertari was the principal wife of Ramses the Great, and that was his favorite wife. And this is her name. This Osiris. The Egyptians felt that when you died and you led a righteous life, that you became one with Osiris, who's the god of the underworld. And
I
so,
wouldn't want to be.
so
It's got of the underworld.
but they have kind of a strange religion, sort of a combination of different religions. In fact, most Christians don't realize that much of the Christian religion comes from the Egyptian religion. So anyway, this says Osiris, great wife of the king, Nefertari, lady of the two lands. Nefertari, beloved of the goddess, smooth, justified before the great god Osiris. And the Egyptians counted time according to the reign of the local king, to the present king. They say this occurred, year 2 under the reign of Ramses the Great. And that's how they counted time. So what this says is, what was made by glass artist Jerry Preston, year 6 under the reign of the Lord of the White House, Clinton.
Who wrote that?
I did.
You said it was his favorite wife. How many did he have?
He had 7,
Did he?
but 2 of them were his own daughters. They really believed
Oh,
in
my
keeping the
goodness.
family.
I've got a gold medallion with the Nefertiti on it.
And this is more from her. And I did these. I brought back some blank papyrus and I did these.
Oh, you
But these are
did.
scenes from Nefertari's tomb.
Yeah, Jerry painted them himself.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh,
Yeah, I painted these myself.
what'd you do?
Did you draw
Shade.
them
I
and
drew
paint
it,
them?
and painted, with
He drew it light on pencil and then
And this
then
is
painted.
the goddess
On what
Hathor.
kind of fabric or paper is that?
It's
papyrus.
papyrus. He brought the
Oh,
papyrus
wow.
I
back
brought
from
back
Egypt.
blank papyrus.
Do you have something to look at?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
That-
did you
we
use
photographs
like
we
an
took
ink
from
pen or-
the tombs. Yeah.
Yeah. Now this one,
Goodness.
I drew this up and had this
I
done.
see his name there.
I had this one done in Egypt. Now this copy of the Book of the Dead is in the British Museum, and this is the most famous of the copies of the Book of the Dead. This date backs about 5,000 years. It predates the Bible by several thousand years. And so this is Ani, was a famous royal scribe who lived about 1250 BC. And here he is being led by Horus, the son of Isis here.
The poor Egyptian had an extremely complicated system
Yeah.
of getting to the other world. You had to have an actual manual
Yeah.
with you to do it
This is Horus.
when you died.
This is Horus, this is Osiris, and this is Isis. Now what this is modeled after. You can tell this is modeled after. What do you notice different about this one?
Were they black people?
Look,
They were well dark, but
Dark.
but look at the figure on the left closely.
Got on glasses.
Yes,
Okay.
they didn't
Let me
have
tell you what
glasses
this
back
says.
then.
this says, "Thus saith Horus, the son of Isis, I come before you, O Winifred, and I bring to you glass artist Jerry Preston. His heart is true, coming forth from the balance. It did not sin against any gods or goddesses. It was judged by the god Thoth in writing and presented to the Ennead of the gods, and it was witnessed by the great goddess Ma'at. May he be given bread and beer coming into the presence of Osiris, and may he be like the followers of Horus."
We took this down to show Bob Breyer one
Did you
time
do
when we was
that
doing a
too?
lecture,
Oh.
and he got the biggest kick. He just laughed and laughed and laughed. It's only,
see,
the only person
he says he's been
living that's
judged.
got it.
I'm going to tell you,
Got it.
tell you something. Now, for instance, an epithet of Osiris is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's his epithet. He had it long before anybody else had it.
That's a he.
Yeah, Osiris. Now, the Egyptians believed that they were the first to come up with the concept of judgment after death based on your moral conduct on earth. So, but this is done with a twist. They then, when they mummified the body, they took all the organs out of the body except for one organ, the heart. They left the heart in the body because the heart had to be weighed against the feather of truth on Judgment Day. And this is where we get our symbol. The symbol of justice comes from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You know, our symbol of justice is the balance. And here's the heart of the deceased is weighed against the feather of truth. And that is represented by the goddess Ma'at here. So, if this person then would declare all the things he did not do on earth, and if he was telling the truth, then the heart would weigh the same as the feather of truth, and that person would be declared justified before Osiris and would be given eternal life. If they did not, if they told a fib, and the heart weighed more than the feather of truth, then the heart was fed to Amity, which was part crocodile, part lion, and part hippo, and that person just simply failed to exist. Now that
But how did they know whether they did good or bad if they were already dead?
well, because they
Well, they wrote it on the
wrote it on the
walls.
wall.
Oh, they
and
kept
made sure
record
that
of it, huh?
I made a
they
record of it. You know,
it.
they firmly believed you could take it with you.
Now, here's another
pharaohs,
interesting
yeah.
concept. This is the hieroglyph for lake, and this is the hieroglyph for fire. The lake of fire, the original concept, was an Egyptian concept, but it was not eternal punishment. It was an obstacle that you had to cross. But if you knew the right magical phrase, then Ani says here, "My heart rejoices because I'm in the lake of fire, which has been quenched for me." And later, then, it was molded into hell, eternal damnation. But this is what's interesting. This is the negative confession. And here, the deceased declares before all the assessor gods all the things he did not do when he was on earth. And this proved that he was a moral person. And among them is here, this one says, he addresses the different gods. And he says, "I did not rob." And this one says, "I did not kill." And this one says, "I did not steal." And this one says, I did not lie. And this one says, "I did not commit adultery." Do those
Ten
sound familiar?
Commandments.
Now, who wrote down the Ten Commandments?
Moses.
And where was Moses raised? In Egypt. Moses was one of the few Egyptians who's illiterate. He would have written down the Ten Commandments in hieroglyphs. And you don't have to be terribly perceptive to see, since this was that Moses took elements of the Book of the Dead and reversed them. Instead of saying, "I did not do all these things," he says, don't do these things. Now, about 1,000 years before the time of Moses, a couple thousand years, was a famous Egyptian sage, and he wrote down things to live by. And one of them was, honor your mother and your father. And every young Egyptian was told that, honor your mother and your father. Then, but there was another famous Egyptian by the name of Ptahhotep, and he said, don't be covetous. So you can see that today's religions owe an awful lot to the ancient Egyptian religion. A lot. Here, this says, the Book of the Dead says, here I am, I'll be seated at the right hand of Osiris. The Bible says, seated at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. So there are many phrases and all that come directly from the Book of the Dead. Most people don't realize that, but this stuff really, we owe an awful lot. That doesn't say the Ten Commandments aren't really good to live by. They're good to live by any way you look at it. You can bet your bottom dollar it did not happen the way that Cecil B. DeMille showed it in the movie.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, the calf that they were worshiping when he came down from the mountain and he got all mad at him and threw the tablets into the calf, that was the Egyptian party god. That was their happy god.
She was the beloved goddess. She's always represented as a cow or a calf and has horns.
So they were
And she
reverting
was the
back
goddess
to
of
Egyptian
love and
gods.
dance, a beloved goddess. Hathor.
He didn't want to have any part of that. He thought that was nonsense. That was so that much is reasonably.
That's your most
MD Anderson Cancer Clinic. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
hospital.
And
About
Get down there.
it's 17
And
stories
there's
tall. You
Kissimmee-
can't miss it. It's a great big
Kids of the
building.
World. You can
17
get in there.
stories. Oh, really?
We did the chapel and Good Kids of the World.
Where's that in Kissimmee?
That's right near.
Well, there's Walmart there.
Right near. Right by that street.
There's a light.
1792?
There's a light. 1792. There's a light there at Walmart.
Yeah.
And you turn and you go south at that light on that street, right next to Walmart, and it's about maybe 2 miles down on the right or so, 2 or 3
Now, you
miles
may,
down
I
on
don't
the
know if they'll let
right.
them see it or not. You have to
Well,
beg
give kids.
and tell them,
No, you
know.
just tell them you want to go and see the chapel, and they'll let
And
you
what
in.
is this in now?
Give Kids the World. It's
Give
in,
Kids the World?
in the chapel.
Chapel.
It's the
Give
one
Kids the
where
World.
they
This is
bring
for
terminally ill
children.
Oh,
Give
I've
Kids the
heard
World.
of that.
Yeah.
I've talked
Take them
about
to
that.
Disney World, the whole thing.
It's kind of like the thing in Memphis
Yeah.
with Danny Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was
Mhm.
founded by Henry Lansworth. Henry Lansworth was a Holocaust survivor. And he then
He made a fortune
his
in
fortune
hotels.
in Holiday Inns, was
Did
it?
you hear where
Hotels,
that was,
yeah.
Gail?
Hotel.
It's in Kissimmee where the Walmart is.
It's right down there by the medieval times or whatever.
Okay.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
where
we
that
go by
is.
that.
It's Give Kids the World.
Give Kids the World. And it's in their, is it in their
It's in the
entryway?
chapel.
No,
In the
no,
chapel.
you have to actually drive in.
You
have
got
to
to go
through
in.
a gate.
And you might have to give them a song and dance while your friends, old
Can we take
friends
a
of
signed
yours.
picture? You
So
didn't sign our
retirement is
book.
not
The,
in your
The
vocabulary.
book, the book
Here,
has got
Gail,
the
get
chapel in it. Yeah, the book has got the chapel in it, so you
Okay,
can see the
one with
windows.
your
in it.
famous signature. So they'll know we saw the real guy.
Well, let's see.
That's right.